Welcome back to Jungkook Update. On December 25th, 2025, the global fashion and beauty world was shaken by a major announcement. Jungkook of BTS has officially been unveiled as the new global ambassador for Chanel Beauty. In a striking black and white campaign, image intense, elegant, and full of presence, Jungkook commands attention with a single gaze. No bold colors, no dramatic motion, yet the impact is undeniable. The simplicity only amplifies his aura, redefining modern luxury in silence. Fans' reactions exploded instantly. Social media was flooded with screams, visual breakdowns, and praise, with many calling Jungkook the new face of modern luxury. Wise. Around the world are asking the same question. Is this the beginning of a new global beauty era led by Jungkook? But fans weren't the only ones reacting. Other major brands, both in fashion and beauty, were reportedly left watching closely. Several international business and fashion outlets described Chanel's move as a bold, strategic decision that could reshape the global ambassador landscape, especially in Asia. Jungkook and Chanel Beauty: how a black and white campaign redefined global luxury. On December 25th, 2025. On December 25th, 2025, while much of the world was celebrating Christmas, the global fashion and beauty industries paused for a different kind of revelation. Without countdowns or excessive theatrics, Chanel officially announced Jungkook of BTS as its newest global ambassador for Chanel Beauty, a move that instantly dominated headlines, trended across continents, and sent ripples through both luxury branding and pop culture ecosystems. The announcement arrived with a single, powerful visual, a black and white campaign image featuring Jungkook silent, intense, and unmistakably commanding. No bright colors, no elaborate setting, no slogans screaming for attention, and yet the impact was immediate. A silent image that spoke louder than words. In the released campaign image, Jungkook appears stripped of excess, no distractions, no ornamentation beyond what is essential. His gaze is direct, calm, and deliberate. The monochrome palette amplifies every detail: the structure of his face, the texture of his skin, the stillness that paradoxically feels electric. Industry analysts were quick to note that this was not simply a beauty campaign. This was a statement. Chanel has long been known for its mastery of understatement, and pairing that philosophy with Jungkook, an artist whose global appeal transcends language, genre, and generation, felt intentional rather than opportunistic. Luxury insiders described the image as controlled power and modern masculinity without performance. Why Jungkook, and why now? For years, Jungkook has been recognized as more than just a pop icon. As the youngest member of BTS, he evolved publicly from a prodigy into a fully realized global artist. His influence spans music, fashion, fitness, visual aesthetics, and now, definitively, beauty. By late 2025, Jungkook's solo ventures had already demonstrated extraordinary reach, massive global streaming numbers, unmatched engagement across social platforms, a fandom that spans Asia, Europe, the Americas, and the Middle East, and crucially, a growing recognition from high luxury houses as a figure who converts cultural relevance into economic impact. For Chanel Beauty, the timing could not have been more precise. The luxury beauty market has been undergoing a subtle but critical transformation. Consumers, especially Gen Z and younger millennials, are no longer persuaded by traditional ideals of glamour. They seek authentic presence, emotional resonance, and identity-driven storytelling. Jungkook embodies all three. Fans react. This is not just an endorsement. Within minutes of the announcement, social media platforms erupted. Keywords such as Jungkook Chanel Global Ambassador, Black and White Jungkook, and Chanel Beauty Era trended worldwide. Fan reactions ranged from emotional disbelief to analytical breakdowns of the campaign's symbolism. Many fans noted how the black and white aesthetic mirrored Jungkook's artistic evolution, less about spectacle, more about substance. This feels like Jungkook stepping into a space that was always waiting for him, one fan wrote. Another commented, Chanel didn't dress him up, they let him exist. Armies also highlighted how rare it is for a male global ambassador, particularly an Asian artist, to represent a luxury beauty line with such visual authority, without being framed as a novelty or exception. The industry watches closely. While fans celebrated, other brands watched in silence. Luxury analysts and marketing insiders quickly pointed out that Chanel's decision may recalibrate how global ambassador strategies are approached, especially in Asia. Several competing fashion and beauty houses reportedly reassessed their ongoing campaigns within hours of the announcement. Not because Jungkook replaced anyone, but because he shifted the standard. The campaign did not rely on loud messaging or trend-chasing visuals. Instead, it leaned into timelessness, suggesting longevity rather than virality, according to branding experts. This move positions Jungkook not as a seasonal ambassador, but as a long-term face of Chanel Beauty's evolving identity. Redefining masculinity in beauty campaigns. One of the most discussed aspects of the campaign was its approach to masculinity. There was no exaggerated toughness, no hyperfeminization, no attempt to explain or justify his presence in beauty. Jungkook was simply presented as himself. This neutrality, this refusal to categorize, was widely praised as progressive and quietly radical. It signals a shift in how beauty brands view male ambassadors, especially in markets where gendered marketing has traditionally been rigid. Chanel Beauty did not frame Jungkook as the first or the exception. They framed him as the choice. Economic impact and brand power. Within 24 hours of the announcement, industry trackers reported a sharp increase in Chanel Beauty-related search traffic, a surge in engagement across Chanel's official platforms, increased attention from financial and business media, analyzing the long-term implications of the partnership. Although Chanel does not publicly disclose campaign revenue projections, analysts estimate that Jungkook's appointment could significantly strengthen Chanel Beauty's foothold in Asian markets while reinforcing its relevance among younger, global consumers. This is not speculative hype, it is data-backed expectation. Beyond fashion, cultural influence, what makes this collaboration particularly significant is that it extends beyond fashion or beauty. Jungkook represents a generation that consumes culture holistically. Music, visuals, branding, and personal identity are no longer separate spheres, they intersect constantly. By aligning with Jungkook, Chanel is not merely endorsing a celebrity. It is engaging with a cultural ecosystem. This is why the announcement resonated far beyond fashion circles. Inside Chanel's strategy, why the black and white campaign was a calculated masterstroke. Behind the apparent simplicity of Jungkook's black and white campaign lies a highly calculated branding decision. According to luxury marketing observers, nothing about this campaign was accidental, from the absence of color to the stillness of Jungkook's pose. Black and white in luxury branding is not merely an aesthetic choice. It is a declaration of permanence. For Chanel, a house built on the legacy of Coco Chanel, monochrome imagery has long symbolized timelessness, discipline, and authority. By introducing Jungkook in this visual language, Chanel effectively positioned him not as a trend-driven idol, but as a long-term cultural figure aligned with the brand's core DNA. This was not a campaign designed to chase short-term virality. It was a campaign designed to age well. Marketing experts described it as anti-algorithm luxury, a move that resists the fast-scrolling nature of modern digital consumption and instead demands attention through restraint. The message between the lines. Observers also noted what was not included in the campaign. There were no dramatic taglines, no explanatory captions, no narrative voice telling audiences how to interpret Jungkook. This silence was intentional. Chanel allowed the audience, fans, consumers, critics to project meaning onto the image themselves. And in doing so, they transformed passive viewers into active participants. In luxury branding, this is one of the most powerful techniques available. Jungkook's unique position in the global market. Unlike many global ambassadors, Jungkook does not rely solely on regional popularity. His influence is truly transnational. He occupies a rare position where Western luxury consumers see him as authentic rather than manufactured. Asian markets view him as aspirational yet emotionally relatable. Younger audiences see him as modern, while older demographics recognize his discipline and professionalism. This multidimensional appeal is precisely what modern luxury brands are struggling to cultivate. By 2025, many heritage brands faced a dilemma. How do you remain exclusive without becoming irrelevant? Jungkook provides an answer. How other brands reacted: quiet competition. While no competing luxury house publicly commented on the announcement, industry insiders confirmed that several brands initiated internal reviews within days of Jungkook's reveal. This reaction was not about rivalry, it was about recalibration. Some brands reportedly reconsidered the age range of their ambassadors, the balance between Western and Asian representation, the tone of masculinity portrayed in beauty campaigns. One senior branding consultant was quoted in international trade media as saying, "This campaign raises the bar. It proves that a male ambassador, especially an Asian male, can lead a beauty narrative without exaggeration, without explanation, and without dilution of luxury."